It all begins with a simple ancient vase, silent yet filled with stories. When Keats looked at this Grecian urn, he didn't just see carved figures, he saw an entire world frozen in time. From lovers forever chasing each other, to towns that will never return, the urn became more than art. It became a mirror for life itself. In this journey, Keats invites us to explore not only the beauty of art, but also the truth of our own fleeting existence. Ode on a Grecian Urn by John Keats is arguably the best poem from arguably the best romantic poet. Let's take a closer look at what Keats is trying to say with this masterwork of 1819, taking it stanza by stanza, thou still unravaged bride of quietness, thou foster child of silence, and slow time sylvan historian who can't thus express a flowery tale more sweetly than our rhyme, what leaf-fringed legend haunts about thy shape of deities or mortals or of both in Tempe or the dales of Arcade. What men or gods are these? What maidens loathe? What mad pursuit? What struggle to escape what pipes? And timbrels, what wild ecstasy in this? First stanza 5. The speaker essentially picks up the urn, this vase, from ancient Greece, turns it over, and inspects the imagery painted onto it, wondering what it depicts and what the painter meant. The urn is this perfect work of art, an unravaged bride that has survived the ages and arrives in the present as a sylvan historian, communicating its message from the past more clearly than a poem can. But what is that message? What are these gods and men? That the speaker sees this mad pursuit of a maiden, this wild ecstasy in his word and image choice. Keats subtly sets up a tension here that will carry through the ode, the tension between the intense but fleeting passions of life and the permanent unchanging beauty of art. Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter. Therefore, ye soft pipes play on not to the sensual ear, but more endeared pipe to the spirit. Ditties of no tone, fair youth beneath the trees, thou canst not leave thy song, nor ever can those trees be bare bold. Lover, never, never can't thou kiss the winning near the goal, yet do not grieve. She cannot fade, though thou hast not thy bliss forever wilt thou love, and she be fair. Stanza number 2 is where the speaker celebrates the undying nature of art, the unheard melodies sweeter than song, the ditties of no tone that play to the spirit, not the sensual ear. He brings us into the love scene on the urn and reflects on these figures who live eternally in their joy and passion beneath trees that will never not be in bloom, and yet even here something nags. Something's not quite right again. It's in the word choice. Keats deploys a lot of negative words and verbs in this stanza. And as we look closer at the scene, we notice that this eternal lover is sort of trapped in this moment before he kisses his maiden. Her beauty and his love will never fade, like both do in real life. But his bliss remains one moment away, a moment that will never arrive. A happy, happy boughs that cannot shed your leaves nor ever bid the spring adieu, and happy melodist unweary forever. Piping songs, forever new more happy love, more happy, happy love, forever warm, and still to be enjoyed, forever panting and forever young, all breathing human. Passion far above, that leaves a heart high sorrowful and cloyed a burning forehead and a parching tongue. A stanza like this is what makes Keats so great. In one sense, we clearly get an intensified education of the celebratory mood of stanza 2. The speaker craves the ideal everlasting love depicted on and symbolized by the urn, but the way he expresses himself, well, it's almost embarrassing, even hysterical, feverish. The word happy appears 6 times in this stanza, and the words forever 5 times. Why would Keats use up so much space with repetitions? I think it's because he's trying to communicate something about the speaker that runs counter to his words. It reminds me of those times when you hear someone insist on how happy they are, but you know they're just trying to will that fact into existence by speaking it through their words. You can see insecurity and doubt. Here at the midpoint of the ode, the speaker begins to doubt his own cravings. For the permanence of art, is it really as perfect as him imagines? Who are these? Coming to the sacrifice, to what green altar, O mysterious priest, leadeth thou? That heifer lowing at the skies, and all her silken flanks with garlands dressed? What little town by river or seashore or mountain bill with peaceful citadel is emptied of this folk, this pious morn, and little town thy streets forevermore will silent be and not a soul to tell why thou art desolate, can error return? In this penultimate stanza, the speaker turns the urn around and examines the scene on the opposite side. He sees a procession led by a priest leading a cow, dressed in garlands to a ritual sacrifice, but he focuses instead on what he can't see, on what the urn doesn't show: the green altar they're heading to, the little town from where they came. Like the bold lover can never kiss his maiden, this little ten down will forever remain desolate. In fact, it's worse than desolate. It's unreal. It doesn't exist. And if the town and the altar don't exist, well, that means the people don't exist either. The speaker at this moment is being ripped from his reverie. All throughout the ode, he's looked to the urn, to art, to assuage his despair about life. In life, trees wither beauty. Love fades, spring passes. Melodists weary. Warmth cools the young age. And finally, die. But now this consolation has proven false. See, in life, things change and fade, but they're real. In art, things may be eternal, but they're lifeless. Oh, Attic, shape fair attitude with breed of marble, men and maidens overwrought with forest, branches, and the trodden weed, thou, silent form, dost tease us out of thought, as doth eternity, cold pastoral when old age shall this generation waste. Thou shalt remain in midst of other woe than ours, friend to man, to whom thou sayest beauty is truth, truth beauty, that is all ye know on earth, and all ye need to know. In the final stanza, the disenchanted speaker lifts out of the scenes on the urn to see this object for what it is: shape, a silent form. Bold lovers become marble men, unravaged brides become overwrought maidens, happy beaux become false blanches, leaf fringe legends become trodden weeds. All the imagery appears finally as a cold pastoral, as cold and lifeless as eternity. Beauty. Real beauty is the truth of living. What makes a thing precious is transience. What makes something valuable is the fact that we can and will lose it. That truth is the source of all our passion, our vitality, and it is itself beautiful. Down here, on the ever-changing earth, that is all we mortals need to know. This doesn't mean the urn is insignificant. After all, it's the urn that gives us this message. Or is it the speaker putting these words into the urn's mouth? Or is it Keats putting these words into both? At the end of this poem, a doubling occurs after the speaker lifts out of the urn. We lift out of the poem, recognizing that this ode has the same effect for us as the urn did for the speaker. Kitsu's poem is our own Sylvan, historian, a perennial friend to man, surviving across generations to deliver its message to those of us who are temporarily lucky to be alive. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. I love doing these poetry videos. I just love reciting poetry, and I highly recommend that you do the same. It is the best way to connect with poets that you love. This episode was brought to you by Squarespace. If you don't know, you could use Squarespace to make websites for anything you might need. Want to make a site for your video content? Well, you can upload your video library directly to Squarespace and even sell access to that content. Or you can use the Squarespace Video Studio app to make pro-level videos within Squarespace and host your content on beautiful pages designed with their easy-to-use blogging tools. Basically, a Squarespace site is going to make whatever you're sharing or selling look professional. And that's going to help you get the word out. Whatever that word actually is, head over to Squarespace. Come for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to Squarespace. Come, Nerdwriter for 10 off your first purchase. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. That was our journey through Keats's Ode on a Grecian Urn, a poem that still speaks across centuries about beauty, truth, and the fleeting nature of life. If this exploration gave you something new to think about, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, share it with friends who love literature, and subscribe so you won't miss the next deep dive into poetry and art.